For a long time, I told myself I was lucky to just be able to enjoy my work. But I spend 400 or 500 a month in euros on petrol for a job that doesn't pay sick leave, holidays, or a pension. So I've decided that I'm just going to finally give the entrepreneur thing a proper shot. I've always kind of been reluctant to make the jump, but at some point you have to take a swing. So I'm doing it. And honestly, you probably should too. So let me give you some context. I don't hate work. I've always actually enjoyed my own work. I don't hate the idea of working a job, especially if you're happy with it. And 9 to 5s in particular give you a stability that you really don't know the value of until you have to do without it. I'm a full-time freelancer, but the catch is that I'm almost tied exclusively to one company. It's a money for time setup, and it's kind of dressed as freedom. Like in reality, I'm living the 9 to 5 lifestyle, but without any of the benefits that come with a 9 to 5. I don't get paid holidays. I don't get sick pay. I don't get any like fuel allowance, even though I should. I don't get a pension. If I want to do that, I have to set it up myself. Like, I have none of the direct benefits. I don't even get designated days off. So for a while, I was okay with that. I was enjoying the work, and that kind of carried me through it. But that only gets you so far. Like, eventually reality hits, and recently it really has for me. Because right now I'm underpaid, undervalued, and overworked. Like, sure, it's fun, but that's it. It's fun. Just because something is fun doesn't mean that it's fair. I shouldn't accept being exploited because I enjoy it. Like, there has to be, some kind of middle ground there. And like, there's been talk of me receiving a contract from this company at various stages, and obviously that would help. Mainly because I wouldn't be paying between 400 and 500 euro a month in petrol out of my own pocket for a job that requires me to be on the road quite a lot. But really, at this point, I'm no longer drawn to the idea of a contract in the way I was before. Because if it is offered to me, I will probably take it. I mean, it would strengthen my finances, but I'm not building my life around it anymore, and it's not the focus that I've got. Because I've realized that enjoying the work is not going to be enough in life. Like, I'm never going to have my basic needs met with the current wage I'm on unless I'm going down a different route. So I've decided I'm taking control of that, and I'm giving the entrepreneurial route a real go. And the inspiration kind of came to me from a video that BizPath uploaded last week, which really caught my attention, and I'll link it below. But it's basically a breakdown of how to transform your finances in a time period of 6 months, moving from your 9 to 5 towards self-employment, or at least giving yourself some genuine side income. So I'd recommend you check out the video if you haven't already seen it. But I'll give you a very quick breakdown of what his objectives were for each month. And I won't be following it blindly because my situation is slightly different, but I will be using it as the scaffolding for what I'm going doing over the next 6 months. So the framework is pretty simple. Month 1, you slash your expenses. Month 2, you increase your income in whatever ways you can. Month 3, you build an emergency fund. Month 4, you attack your debt. Month 5, you learn about investing. And in month 6, you rope them all together and build consistency. So that's the outline I'm following, with a few tweaks, because first off, I don't have any debt, thankfully. I also already invest, so those are two things that give me a bit of a head start. I don't need a full month to learn the basics of the market. So February is month 1. The main priority will just be to keep my expenses as low as possible, but it is not the only priority, unlike in BizPath's video. I'm going to try and run a service-based business around data and analytics that I already gather from my 9 to 5, so to speak. And I'm just going to put the start of that in motion. So the trick here is to post this data online, go public with it on things like Twitter and Instagram, gain some traction, some followers, and I can use that so I can build towards turning it into an actual business. So for February, it's kind of just about exposure for the business idea and keeping an eye on my expenses. Pretty simple goal for this month. But I'll also be doing one of the income boosters that BizPath recommended in that video, which is selling stuff I don't need on Vinted. I would recommend you do the same. Very handy way of making a small bit of cash here. So March then becomes month 2. This is where I push for monetization with my business. If everything clicks, it's a big if, I might land a client. It's unlikely, but it is possible. There are a few that would be pretty easy to acquire, but I'll get more into that in my video at the end of the month. Realistically, I am aiming to just generate something from March, 20 euro, 50 euro, whatever it is. The amount doesn't matter, it just needs to be a start. Because then April then is month 3, and this is a pretty important month for me in particular because I don't have a proper emergency fund. It's kind of the blind spot in how I've been operating, because my income is relatively low and my expenses are quite high for someone who's living at home with their parents through what my job requires. Not bad spending habits. And the only way I've kind of been able to make any investments in the markets is by putting basically the entire difference in my incomes and expenses towards my portfolio. I have about 4,700 in terms of liquid cash in my account, but that is just for my everyday expenses, and it is what I use to spend money. It is not a separate protected, emergency fund. So April will be about building up that particular safety net, and my early goal is to just get 1,000 to 2,000 initially, and I've already put aside 100 euro towards that, so we're making a start. The end goal there will be 5,000 euro. So May, which would be month 4, would normally be the debt month, but since I don't have debt, it just becomes more about developing the business and continuing to grow that emergency fund. So then June will mirror that again. BizPath framed it as kind of for education and automation, but for me it will kind of just be more about proving that the model works and getting income from it. Like by month 5, I would really want to have income, from something that isn't tied directly to my hours of work. However small, I do need to be making money at that stage, and I would like to also have 3,000 euro in the emergency fund by the end of June rather. So July is month 6. The emergency fund needs to be maxed out at 5k by the end of July, and I need to maintain the consistency with the business. But I suppose as I get closer to the later months of the 6 months, it will be easier to define exactly what my goals are for those months. But I want to have earned money, even just €1 from an income stream that does not require me to sell my time. I think that's the important aim here. And I'll document it all. There'll be a video at the end of each month going through how it's gone, my wins, my losses, all the things you want to know. It'll be there. I'll be fully transparent. And this isn't me pushing some of the same, bullshit financial guru things that you'll just hear all the time on YouTube about how you're going to make money. I'm taking one of those and I'm going to see how it goes. So follow along if you're interested in the journey. Any questions you have, leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to help. And I apologize for the inactivity. I was actually quite sick for a while. But we're back in action now. And if you do enjoy the content, please do subscribe. It is greatly appreciated.